What's up, people? We are back. We are live and in living color. James, Kaelyn, the MMA Mainstream Podcast is back. That's
Yeah.
what we do. You know why we're here. We're here to talk about some MMA, of course. We've been gone for like 3 weeks, and quite a bit has gone on.
I know.
That's been
We haven't
crazy.
done this in a long
I
time.
mean, it was supposed to only be a 2 week hiatus, but the extra week was earlier because the power outage happened at my place. So
I forgot
could
about
be
that. We were
able to
supposed to do it, and then
Yeah.
your power went out. So
And the power went out, and PG was like, "We'll do it when you're done." And I'm like, "Thanks."
Yeah.
So, yeah, literally just sat in the dark and played on my phone.
Yeah.
But we are back. We've been gone. You were on vacation for Easter. I had gone to WrestleMania the previous week. Had a glorious time. I hope you had a good time on your vacation while you were gone.
It was. I turned it into a vacation.
Even
All
better.
I did was I went to Idaho. My mom lives there, but I had bought a car there and I had to drive it back. So that's why
Hey,
I
there's
went
nothing
there.
wrong with that.
But on the way back, taking pit stops was pretty fun. So
just glad you made it back safe, because I've seen a lot of scary movies. A lot of nutty stuff goes down in some of these backwood areas.
No, we actually just went to like Reno and Truckee and came down that way. So it was actually a really nice drive.
I've heard of Truckee, but that's still a suspect sounding place, just being honest.
It sounds like it because I've never been there, but it's over in Tahoe and it's beautiful. So I want to go back.
All right. Truckee getting the nod from Kaelyn over here. But we are here to talk about cage fighting. That's what we do. And we're going to get into it with yesterday's UFC fight night going on. Let me pop that up for us. Bloop, bloop. Max Holloway beat Arnold Allen. Max Holloway has been up and down consistently, but got the unanimous decision. Wow, I'm not unanimous decision win over Arnold Allen, who is ranked number 4 in a featherweight bout. Dana White had commented and said that he blames Allen's corner for the loss. You told me you actually fell asleep during the fights.
I got home so late. Yeah, I did. But anyway, just catching up on the aftermath of it. But I mean, Arnold Allen, like I don't know how many things you could do right or do wrong. You just figure it out, and I don't know what the corner said to him or why it ended up being that way. But I mean, this guy has come all the way to the top. Like, I don't know how many more things you can do right or wrong. Things happen.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I feel
You're
like
also fighting Max Holloway. I mean, come on.
Yeah, like you have to perform at a certain level to fight him.
Yeah.
And I don't believe he's even ranked anymore. It doesn't show that he is.
Oh, I don't know about that, but
I could be wrong, but
just
just for now. But Max Holloway got the win at a unanimous decision victory. And then moving on, we had Edson Barboza getting the first round win over Billy Quarantillo. These names, I swear. And we also had Dustin Jacoby on the card, who lost to Azamat. And then
he's one of my favorites.
Ian Cutelaba got the win in the first. Clay Guida. Okay.
Yeah.
That's where we wanted to get to. He lost to Rafa Garcia by decision and made it sound like he was going to retire, but then wished his mom happy birthday.
Well, you know what I think happened there is they were talking to Garcia, and he basically, and Dana White said this, and that's why he got mad. He said he hijacked the broadcast because he was taking off his gloves, which then brought the conversation to Guida, who did not retire, but just wanted to say happy birthday to like a couple people and his mom. that was there. And I think Dana White was pissed because he basically stole Garcia's moment, and he also congratulated him and praised him a little bit, but that's still, you just kind of took his interview away. So I don't know. I could see why it was kind of shitty, I guess. But I mean, whatever, you know?
I agree. It does suck, but yet, like, what a clever move on his part to do that in order to get the spotlight put back on him. And let's be real, like, does he really have, how many fights does he have left in him?
It doesn't look like he's stopping, and I don't think he should. I think he's still doing great, actually.
Oh, I'm not saying that it's wrong, but yet left in the UFC.
I'm not sure what his contract is, but I do think that the contract he's fulfilling right now was like maybe like 6 or something. It was a lot. The last time I heard.
It's also supposed to be like the last contract for him there.
It was a big one, yeah. But
so Rafa Garcia, not Rafa, I'm pronouncing it like Portuguese. Rafa Garcia has plenty of opportunity to still get the spotlight put on him. So Dana White,
take
a snack break, bro. Calm down.
Yeah.
Do one of those stupid videos that we see, like of you with snacks or some slap fighting video that because you're super into that.
Oh God, is that still happening? Is that stuff still happening?
I don't know if it's still broadcasting.
You know, I haven't even. No, they took it off the broadcast, which I don't even know why they had a broadcast. That was insane. For what was it on CBS or something?
TNT, I think, or TBS. One of those I saw it on.
Anyways, they won't even play UFC on a broadcast, but you're gonna put that up on there. I am not surprised it is not on there anymore. But
Same.
Oh God. Anyway, I can go on so long about that, how stupid it is, but I won't.
All right. Well, let's keep going from last night's fight night. And then we had a dual retirement in one bout. It was Zach Cummings versus Ed Herman. And Zach Cummings got the win. And they both took off the gloves and called it a day. Cummings got the win in the third round at 4:13. And Ed Herman, man, that guy, we'll have a story later on about the most senior fighters in the UFC, and he was one of them. But see him go from the Ultimate Fighter and still be fighting in 2023, like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, and to be honest, I didn't even know that. I know who Ed Herman is, but I didn't know how far back that guy actually went.
long time ago.
Well,
so they both retired after their prelim fight and called it a day, which props to them. Like, you know, talking about Ed Herman, seeing him in the Ultimate Fighter, I can't tell you what season offhand, but I just know that I remember seeing him on it and becoming a fan, and then for him to still be fighting up until now, like, never thought about the long term with certain fighters, and he was just one of them that I feel like went under the radar for a long time with people.
And still, yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, that's so crazy. All those, I don't know. When I first started watching UFC, I didn't have everyone memorized, didn't know all the fighters. But you know, once you start watching it after a while, you're like, oh, I know that face. I remember that guy. Saw him on the last card or whatever, you know. And he was always one of those, and it's like, oh, I guess he's retired now.
Let me see if I can find out. You ready for this? Ultimate Fighter 3.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Whoa. That's a very long. What season are they on now? Like, what are they up to?
Oh, I don't even want to guess, but I feel like it's also going to make me ill because I was watching it like at season 1.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about that right now. Let's not. Let's move on. Let's move on to next week's UFC. It's another UFC fight night. In the main event, we have Sergey Pavlovich versus Curtis Blades, number 3 versus number 4 in a heavyweight bout.
Mm-hmm.
That's.
I like Curtis Blades.
You like Curtis?
I like both of them. I'm a Russia girl, so I always support the Russian fighters, but I like Curtis Blades too. He's pretty good.
Understandable, comrade. Understandable. I actually will take Sergey on that. I too am a fan of the Russian fighters. I feel like Sergey being number 3
And Curtis Blades, I feel like, is a toss-up.
That's exactly why I think the same thing. That's why I'm also going with Pavlovich on this as well.
I know, like, you could pick Blades, but it's like, who's going to show up? You don't know.
Exactly.
You never know.
I've always felt that way about fighters as far back as like when Vitor was fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Because
You're like, who's showing up today?
Exactly. Which Vitor are we going to get? And that's literally my thought process on certain fighters that have waves and not necessarily like a good streak and then come down, but just waves, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss.
Yeah.
And I feel like that with Blades as well. So that's why I'm taking Pavlovich on this one.
I'll go with Sergey also.
And then we have Ricky Simon, ranked number 10 in bantamweights, versus Song Yadong at number 8.
I like both of these fighters. Ricky Simon.
I call him Simon. Look like Simon. I'm call him Simon.
He's always been good. But ranked number 10 against Song Yadong he's good too. He's always been good. I think this is going to be a really good fight. They're really close in the ranks, and I don't know the last time that Ricky Simon fought, but I don't know who to pick.
I'll go Song Yadong.
Yeah.
He's been fighting more consistently. He's had much better outings. He's also better in the rankings right now, but because of his outings in his previous bouts, that's why I'm taking him.
Yeah, I'll pick him too.
Let's see. Then we got Brad Tavares versus Bruno Silva.
Both good. I don't know. I would say Brad Tavares.
You go Brad Tavares. I'll take Bruno Silva on this one. We got Bobby Green versus Jared Gordon in a lightweight bout.
That'll be a good one. I'm excited to see Bobby Green fight again.
Same.
He's always exciting. I picked Bobby Green for that.
Got to agree with that. And then Brogan Walker. I imagine I'm butchering that, versus Isman Lucindo.
Interesting. I don't know.
Women's flyweight bout.
I don't know much about both of these fighters.
Same.
Yeah.
So I'll take Brogan because I can pronounce it. Aha.
I don't know. I would take Brogan Walker also. I really don't know about the Brazilian fighter. I've seen Brogan Walker fight before. That's the only reason why. It's a total guess.
Yeah, agreed. Completely agree. And then the end of the main card, we have Jeremiah Wells versus Matthew
Semmelsberger.
Thank you. I was just about to call him Burger. I was like, I gotta go Wells.
I'm gonna go with Matthew on that one.
Okay. And then let's see if we got who we got in the prelims. We got Ronnie Yaya versus Montel Jackson.
I haven't seen him in a long time.
Versus Norma Dumont. We got the big younger brother of Kamaru Usman.
Yeah.
We got Muhammad, former local fighter, fought at Tachi. There you go. So local tie-in there. I love those. And that rounds out our look at the UFC Fight Night going down Saturday, April 22nd in Las Vegas at their performance center, the Apex. Now, of course, UFC has been going on, and me and you were discussing it before the show that we really don't talk about Bellator anymore because there's not a lot of Bellator going on at all. But that's different. This weekend, there's 2 fights, one on Friday and one on Saturday. So let's go ahead and bring that to you guys.
That's interesting.
We have Liz Carmouche, a.k.a. female Uriah Faber, versus Deanna Bennett for the Women's Flyweight World Championship.
Deanna Bennett came from the Ultimate Fighter, and she was in the UFC. Don't know what happened to her. Apparently, she went to Bellator.
She's in Bellator now.
And now she's fighting Liz Carmouche, so good luck.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Liz Carmouche is going to beat the shit out of her.
Probably.
I mean,
you never know.
Carmouche has such strong wrestling, though. I don't feel like she's gonna.
Yeah.
I don't feel like Bennett's gonna get around that.
I think Liz Carmouche, almost didn't she almost choke out Ronda Rousey? She was on her back for a while when they were fighting. It was really, it was exciting.
Yeah, but that was a big breakthrough fight, and that
gave
Carmouche a lot of like that really upped her. What's the word I'm looking for? Her brand.
Right.
Just put it like that. It really made her more well known when she competed against Ronda. So,
but wasn't that the first fight for?
It was like the big first. Yeah, it was like a first. I think it was the
first fight.
Title fight. I think it was.
It was the first UFC fight for Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. I want to say it was a title fight, but I don't recall exactly.
I believe so. Gosh, it's been so long.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
A lot of cobwebs up there.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. We got Tim Johnson versus Syed Solma.
Tim Johnson. Okay.
Tim Johnson, not gonna lie, I feel like I've seen him on the sex offender registry.
Okay.
It's the stash and the hair. Like,
I was just browsing it the other day.
Wow. Okay. So randomly off note, how many are in your community?
No. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't want to know. I think I did that once when I was younger, like at one of the other houses I was living at, and I didn't think I understood what I was looking at, so I was like, whatever. I was just like messing around.
You're all, why are there all these dots on this map?
What do all those red dots mean? But I've also always lived next to a school, though, so there probably wasn't very many.
So you're safe then. Safe to say.
Oh, for sure, it's the safest.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. We have Arlene Blinko versus Sarah McMahon. McMahon, she bad.
Still going. Well, both of them actually. Oh my gosh. Both of those ladies are very experienced. I don't know. I don't know what Arlene Blanco looks like anymore as far as fighting goes. And then Sarah McMahon, I think it's a toss-up now.
Sarah McMahon, yeah, it's a toss-up, but I give her the benefit of the doubt because you have Arlene who's 15-9.
Yeah, but Sarah McMahon's 13-6, you know? So
true. But I feel like McMahon has faced tougher competition.
She has. I'll say that. Yeah. I'll go with McMahon. On paper, she's supposed to win.
And then we have my favorite Jersey Shore character, Danny Sabatello.
Oh, cool.
Versus Marcos Reno. I take Danny just because, GTL. So
I'd take Marcos.
Take Marcos? All right. And there are some more fights on that card, but that's our look at that card for Bellator 294. And then the next day, Bellator 295.
That is so strange that they're doing that. Why are they doing that?
I don't know. But, I mean, if it works, it works. We have Raytheon Stouts versus Patchy Mix, which is the fucking weirdest name ever. I'm sorry.
Patchy Mix. That's awesome.
I feel like that's a type of Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, okay.
The Patchy Mix.
Yeah.
And they're fighting for the Bantamweight World Grand Prix. 19-1 versus 17-1. That should be an interesting bout.
I'd go with Raytheon on that one.
Same. I completely agree with that. And then we have Horiguchi versus Borg. 30-5 versus 16-5. I want to take Horiguchi just because purely based on experience. You have a guy with 35 fights and a guy that has 21 fights.
Right. So, but Ray Borg came from UFC. I don't know if that
is true. That is true.
Didn't really see too much. I didn't see too much of him in UFC that I remember, like as far as being memorable. I know he was a UFC fighter, but I don't know. I would go with Horiguchi on that one.
I do too, purely based on experience.
That experience, yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Aaron Pico's back versus Otto Rodriguez. Aaron Pico all the way, 10-4 versus 13-1. Rodriguez does have the better experience, but Aaron Pico, I'm a fan, so picking him.
Yeah, I'd pick Pico.
And then we have Alima Le McFarlane versus Kana Watanabe.
McFarlane for sure.
McFarlane, I pick her as well. So that was our brief look at Bellator's back-to-back events going on this coming weekend. And we will discuss more of that next week about the final results of those two bouts. We have a comment real quick from Joseph McDonald. Hi, Joseph. So thank you for that. Appreciate the comment, even though brief. So let's go ahead and jump back into the UFC. Let's see. We already discussed Dana White's thoughts on Arnold Allen and how he thought that his corner informed him too late about what he needed to do against Max Holloway. Therefore, he lost the decision. But now we're going to talk about Dana White and Clay Guida. Clay Guida pissed me off with the fake retirement in the UFC, and that was just because we believe we discussed that as well, that it was because he had stolen the spotlight from Rafa Garcia.
Yeah, I agree. I guess. I mean, whatever. It's Clay Guida, you know? I don't really expect. I mean, do you expect Clay Guida to be anything but random? Like, you know?
I feel like Clay Guida is more exciting than most fighters in the UFC.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's when you think about it, it's a shitty thing to do to somebody, but whatever. Clay Guida's been around forever. I think he thinks he could do whatever he wants, and he can. Clearly.
Yeah, I feel like that too. That it
was a mean trick to take your gloves off, though. I mean, that
was.
I went to bed.
It's one thing if you're like, I want to take them off, but yeah, it's the idea that it looks like the idea.
Everyone knows when you take your gloves off that that's what's going on.
True.
But yeah,
we have some bad news about a upcoming UFC fight. UFC 288 will not have Charles Oliveira on it because he is out due to injury.
Did it say what injury though? I am always seeing that it's canceled. I just didn't know what or why exactly.
It does not say.
Mm.
So we shall see. But we also have Kron Gracie on the card.
Mm.
And Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo. So it's still a quality card.
So that's a great fight card. Anyway.
Bryce Mitchell versus TBA. Jessica Andrade. Was that a solid card?
Yeah. Who was at the bottom there?
Joseph Holmes versus
Claudio. Oh no, I saw Drew Dober. Drew Dober. Not for bullet. Okay. I like Drew Dober.
So a decent fight card, but I think with the Oliveira versus
that kind of
Dariush fight would have really set it over the top.
That's what made it a pay-per-view, I think. I mean, besides the actual main event, that's great. And yeah, that fight should be pay-per-view, but you need more to make it a great, or, you know, I mean, for $80, I'm still bitter.
I really can't get over how much these are costing. Like, probably why I don't really watch the UFC pay-per-views anymore.
I watch them. I buy them. I do buy them, and it hurts.
I don't know how you do it. Props to you.
I have to. It's like I don't want to miss it, you know, and I do not want to watch it later. It's like it's got to be live.
I understand. I really
have updates constantly, and it's like I want it for pay-per-views. I'm going to watch it live.
You want to see it.
Yeah, because I don't want to hear about the winners and losers without actually having watched it. It just kind of spoils it. The whole point of it is to be in the moment watching it live, you know?
Very true. So, very true.
If it's a free fight night, I can watch it later that night. That's fine. But
so we were also discussing earlier about retirements. And here's one retirement that happened while we were away. Jorge Masvidal retired. Mm-hmm. And he lost his final bout against Gilbert Burns. Burns accused him of greasing, but then apologized in this article that I have up because he has no proof that he did that.
Right.
I feel like that was a lot of drama for one bout.
It was. Whatever.
Yeah. But Gilbert Burns,
Yeah.
who got the unanimous decision win, like, okay, like, why are you complaining about that? You won.
Yeah, the whole thing is
what it is.
strange. I don't know.
And then he retired. So Masvidal's gone. He might have
That's
possibly
okay.
have jail time to look at because of Kobe
That's
Covington.
hilarious. Oh my god.
And
But
that
he's putting on
nonsense.
some really good fights though for his organization that he has now.
True, very true. And also with UFC 287, the hype trains has slowed or come to a standstill, I should say. If I could get this article up, because for some reason I love MMA Junkie, but MMA Junkie doesn't love me.
Yeah.
Hold on
Or
a
their
sec.
readers.
Come on. There we go. All right. Christian Rodriguez plays cool after derailing Raul Rojas Jr. or Rosas Jr. Rosas Jr.
Yeah.
That was crazy because this kid had the hype train behind him being such a young athlete at 18. Or was he still 17? Like,
no, I think he's 18 now.
He's 18 now, yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's disappointing, but then when watching that fight, I was well aware that I was watching a kid get beat up, because he just looked, against that guy, he just looked, you're going to say unexperienced, but obviously inexperienced because he's very young, not that he's not good, but I don't know that unless this guy's just really good that he fought, but I also don't think you should put all those expectations on an 18-year-old who happened to do really great outside of fighting and getting into the UFC, had good performances, but I mean, you don't know until you actually get in there, and obviously.
Was it because it looked like he was being ragdolled by this guy? Like,
it looked like it.
Is that why it was just a dominant performance?
Yeah, it was very, very dominant, and then I was just like, oh my god, this guy's so young. I'm just watching a kid get thrown around, basically. That's a little exaggeration, but it gave me that kind of vibe when I was watching it. And then I think the ref should have stopped it a few punches earlier, but it's my opinion.
We also need to mention, because we're going to go into this next story, which involves PFL, that Jake Paul is going to be taking on Nate Diaz in a boxing match.
That's interesting. Get your money, I guess, I don't know. I just, man, whenever Nate fights, it's like you don't know who's gonna, again, it's kind of like you don't know who's gonna show up. Not that he does bad, it's kind of more like, is he gonna really showcase his boxing, or is he just gonna get hit in the head and split his eyebrow open again to where you can't continue the fight, which is so annoying, that because he'll fight forever. He doesn't care about a gash in his face, but the doctors do, and they stop it. So it sucks. It's happened more than a few times in his last few fights for UFC. It's like, the fight gets called because he can't see, because the doctor thinks that cut's too close to his eye, which it is, but it's like, what are you going to do? You can't, I don't know what your options are of fixing that, or if you can't fix it. I know it's scar tissue. It's really difficult to work with, but I don't know if you can get not plastic surgery, but go to a cosmetic surgeon to get it out of your eyebrow and somehow get some new tissue there. I don't know.
You can, but a lot of people, okay, so I want to say Nick, his brother had it yes. done. And then Daniel Silva has had it done also, where they go in and they get all the scar tissue out and take it all out. And they look like completely different people when they get it done. It's such a weird night and day look.
It's like, you're saying they look worse or better?
It's just different. You get used to looking at them a certain way, and when they take all of them out, they look like completely different people. It's such a trip.
Although I don't know.
I think when he's done fighting, get it done. Or if he needs to,
no, I'm not saying for looks. I don't care about looks. It's like, get your ass through the fight so that the doctor doesn't call it. It's like, is there a way to get that crap out of your face so that every time you hit it, it doesn't bust open like that, And I don't know if that's I have no info on that. I have no idea if you can do that. I think I heard something about it a long time ago. But the main issue for me watching Nate Diaz is like, is his face going to split open, or is he going to be able to finish his fight? You know, so I know Jake Paul's a bit bigger than him. I think, could be wrong, but I believe Jake Paul's, isn't he like at least 20 pounds heavier when he fights than Nate Diaz as is?
I don't know for sure. I would like to say yes, but I don't know.
But also, I feel like we have the same conversation every time Jake Paul fights because he is always the bigger fighter. He handpicks.
He seems to outweigh everybody by, or at least even by the look.
Yeah, and no one's gonna say no because they want to get paid. You know, so it's like, ugh. I'm not saying he's not a legitimate fighter. I used to say that, but after watching him put in more fights, yeah, he could box. He's good.
He's finally legit to us,
I guess. But it's like,
but
you're not
on
watching
the fringe. Not
him,
not like a wholehearted, like he's in there, but still he rides the fringe because he's a guy who boxes and only fights MMA fighters.
Yeah, the fact that he only fights MMA fighters, yeah. And Nate Diaz is a great boxer, so I'm hoping this will be a better fight. I don't know. I mean, that's great. He could do whatever he wants. I hope they both get paid. They usually do. And then I don't know. I think someone said that Nate Diaz wants to come back to UFC after that. I don't know if that was true, if that was just a rumor, or if
I heard that too. I'm not sure. I don't know the validity of it as well.
Yeah, and then a reporter was asking Dana White about it too after the presser for last night's, and he said Nate Diaz can do whatever he wants. So that's always good to know that he will bring him back whenever he wants, if he wants to. But
I think he feels like Dana White feels like Nate Diaz doesn't necessarily move the needle like other fighters do now, but
everyone's still interested in him though.
Of course, especially us here in California, Central California, being that he's from Stockton, close enough, about hour and a half, 2 hours away. Yeah. So still represent, a certain region of California, and we love him. So why we would want to see him back in the UFC competing at the top level. But I understand, get your money and go fight Logan Paul. Or Jake. I always get them confused.
Oh no, Jake Paul. Jake Paul's the one he's fighting.
Yeah, Jake Paul. Speaking of Jake Paul, who we talked about doing MMA and competing, they talked to the boss of PFL, and he said, what's going on with Jake Paul? Jake Paul will make his MMA debut, but just this week it was announced the fight with Nate Diaz. So those plans are being put in place to properly launch the PFL Super Fight division in pay-per-view. So they're going to have a pay-per-view.
Interesting.
Do you think enough people will want to watch a PFL pay-per-view?
No.
Well, but here's the selling point is having super fights like with Jake Paul.
Oh, cross promotion fights, basically.
Well, okay, no, Jake Paul will be competing in MMA, but the MMA fight that he's competing in is a pay-per-view on PFL.
Are they signing him for a contract or just a fight?
I believe he's going to fight.
Oh, if he wants to be an MMA fighter, that's a different story.
No. It was just interesting to catch up with what's going on with the PFL.
That's interesting. I don't know. Okay, that's I wonder why he chose PFL.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Well,
I think they're saying his debut will be next year.
Interesting. I would be very interested to watch that.
And they're going to be making an announcement on Kaelyn and see where she will be on pay-per-view. We will be making an announcement real soon as to who her opponent will be.
Who's the victim? No, I'm just kidding.
We can't say that because she lost her last one.
I know. I just thought of that. Like, what poor soul has to fight her now? But
then this one is potential Francis Ngannou signing.
Interesting.
Francis made it very clear he is going to box. We're excited to see how those plans materialize. We have a very close relationship and more to come on the next steps on Francis related to MMA. So, all right, Francis Ngannou will be. From what I understand, he does want to box, so they'll
I
just
think he
let
wants
him
more
go this
money,
way.
and he thinks boxing is the way to do it.
I agree, and I've heard the same. So we'll
What
see
a
if he gets
shame!
paid.
What a buzzkill to have Francis Ngannou leave the UFC.
But it is what it is.
Whatever.
He was at the top of his game there, and now he's going to be boxing. Don't know against who yet. Haven't heard that much, or if he's going to get the money that he wants to box. So we have yet to see.
Yeah, he wants a lot of money. We know that.
A ton of money.
We'll see who will give it to him.
Which I ain't mad at. Like, he should demand a lot of money.
I know, but then you get into the spot. It's like, are you ever going to fight then? Like, what is going on here? You know,
That's
what do you want to
true.
do? Where are you getting at? You want to fight, or do you just want to argue about money? Which I think you should get paid for sure. But it's like, I feel like he's at the point where he just won't fight if they don't give him the money. And it's like, okay, but I don't know. I just feel like it's always a tease when you hear about him. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. That's how I felt about John Jones for so long.
Yeah.
Like, when's he going to fight? He finally fought at heavyweight. He's the stud. He's the GOAT. But yet it took so long for him to get there that it was just like, why are we still talking about him? He is not even in the conversation.
Well, he is now. He's back.
Yes, in a major way. But then.
Right. Yeah.
All right. And then lastly for us, we're going to go over Ironman, the 12 longest tenured UFC fighters on the current UFC roster. So, of course, with Clay Guida competing previously yesterday, that he is one of the most long-term fighters that's been there, but we also have some others that have been there for quite some time. Charles Oliveira, who we just talked about earlier on the show, he's only 33. Oh my God. I thought he was older.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
Made his debut in 2010 on UFC on Versus. I don't know if anybody remembers Versus except me, because WEC was on it.
Oh, wow.
He's had 30 UFC fights. He's 30-9.
Wow.
33-9, excuse me.
Yeah.
That shit is nuts.
It's a lot of fights.
A ton of fights. And especially to still be up there. We have Court McGee.
Yeah, that's...
Yep. Started in 2010 with the Tough 11 finale.
Wow.
Do you know who Court McGee is? I mean, because you're young, so I don't know if you know somebody.
No. Yeah, no, I know who. Yeah, I remember. No, I remember watching him, and I always forget about him. But yeah.
We have Brad Tavares, who's competing next week in the UFC to the Ultimate Fighter 11 finale. And he's 35. Darren Elkins, 38.
That 2010. Darren Elkins, gosh, I know he's been around for a while. I didn't know he was around for that long. But
crazy, right?
Yep.
Alexander Gustafsson, 2009 at UFC 105.
Wow.
Rafael Dos Anjos, 2008.
32 and 14. My God.
Yep, UFC 91. Jim Miller, UFC 89. Same age. He's actually the same age as me. I'll be 39 this year.
35.
Yep, we're old timers.
John Jones,
UFC 87.
Yep. Wow.
What was that? 2008? Were you like 6?
2008. I might as well have been 6 years old now. Excuse me. I was 18.
And then you got Matt Brown, age 42, Tough, the Ultimate Fighter 7, 23 and 19. Clay Guida is number 3 on this list. UFC 64. Wow. Holy shit.
Gosh.
41, 33 and her 38 and 22, I should say.
That's so much.
Joe Lozon, 2006, UFC 63. Number of fights, 27. He's 28-15. Lastly was Ed Herman, 2006, the Ultimate Fighter 3 finale. Wow. These are some guys that I watched at their prime, and just to hear that these are like still the longest tenure guys, and I'm glad they're still competing, but I'm like, God, this makes me feel super old.
I guess it just doesn't seem like that long ago.
It doesn't.
To me,
it really doesn't. And time just jumped. But
yeah,
still glad they're around. Still glad they're competing, with the exception of Ed Herman, who just most recently retired yesterday. Good on him. Enjoyed his career for what it was. Yeah. I wonder what the next list will look like with guys in like 5 to 10 years.
That one will be old. That's when I will be old. When we go over that one.
It'll be good stuff. Yeah, I love it. Is there anything else you want to add for this week's MMA Mainstream Podcast?
No, not right now.
Not right now? All right.
Not right now.
Well, that's going to do it for us here. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.